Hi folks, this is a video that deals with a short-term note receivable, and it's related to your first version of the quiz. Now, in this question, it says here that Little was experiencing cash flow problems and was unable to pay its $105,000 account payable to Big. So Little is the company that owes Big money, right? Now, the note was due 2014. Big agreed to substitute a 1-year note for the open account. Open account is the account receivable, right? Because you can pay down any time, whatever you owe at any time you want, over and above the date it's due. So it's referred to as open, eh? So now, it says here it's a 1-year note. That means it's a short-term note. The option that Little gave to Big was a 1-year interest-bearing note. So we know that when we have a short term, and in our case short term is 1 year, interest-bearing note for $105,000, any of the interest on that note is going to go into an account known as interest receivable, not note receivable. Now, this note is going to be due September 30th, 2015, which is a year from the date they swiped out the account receivable for the note. Interest is at 8%, payable at maturity, which would be this date. All right? So now, let's assume that Big had a December 31st year end. So now we have an intervening year end. So you're asked to make journal entries on Big's books. Big has the receivable, right? So Big is waiting to receive this money from Little. How do we know? Because Little was the one that had the payable, all right? So Big is now having to make journal entries on its books at September 30th, 2014, the year end, December 31st, 2014, which is when you need to make your accrual or adjusting entry for interest, and September 30th when the note is paid. So now on September 30th, that's the date when the account receivable is dissolved and the note receivable is set up on Big's books. Again, this is on Big's books we're doing it, right? At December 31st, we have an intervening year end, intervening between the date the note was made and the date that it's retired or extinguished. So now on a $105,000 note at 8% interest, it was stated interest, so it's interest bearing, and we want it from October, November, and December, 3 months of 12. That's $2,100 in interest we have to record. Now on September 30th, when the interest is paid, what's going to happen? The whole note is going to be paid at September 30th, 2015, and that's going to include 8% interest as well. So $105,000 on the note plus the interest is going to give us $113,400. If Big gets that $113,400, it means we no longer have a note receivable. We no longer have an interest receivable because the interest we set up here that we were waiting to receive is part of the $113,400 we got. And don't forget, from January 2015 until September 30th, 2015, that's 9 months of interest income that Big has earned on that note. So it now records a credit to interest income or interest revenue of $6,300. So this concludes our short-term interest-bearing note. I hope you found it helpful.